Smooth and original. Straight from the underground. Listen to the real funk. Hold on.
Welcome back to Fill in the Gaps. I am Egg, and welcome to part 3 of the SW Laser sponsored mini-series about laser tattoo removal. We have covered the people who brought laser to Perth, made it a popular thing. We've covered people who have gotten laser, and now, part 3, we have a magical guest who has been on the podcast before. I think you're the third person to be on twice.
Oh, nice.
So you take that. You're not the first. So,
all right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, is what it is. I wrote some notes about you. I believe that you might be Dr. Seuss's ghostwriter after your performance last time. And you have told me that you enjoy one of the weirdest snacks that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Chip sandwiches.
What goes on your chip sandwiches? Let us know. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah. I like, so bread.
Yep.
Peanut butter.
Yep.
Honey.
Yep.
Original chips.
Mm-hmm. And?
Maybe
Salt.
a bit of salt.
Salt.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
Yeah. It's depending. Do you know what else I've really got into is putting a little bit of salt on vanilla ice cream. Really good.
Cut. Not doing this anymore.
Dude, do it. Dude, salty and sweet is the best combination.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, so.
All right. You don't know.
I'm not going to know either.
Yeah, you don't know any better.
Today's guest, Tony from Main Street.
Hello.
How we going?
Good.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get into it, please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, share the show. Check out the website, fitgpod.com. And all socials, FITG_podcast. And thank you to the sponsors, Industry Tattoo Supply and SW Laser Tattoo Removal for this series as well.
And check out my podcast, FATTITTY pod.
Do it. As you can tell, man's a stand-up comic.
Tony Fat Tits.
That's the man. That's what they used to call me in high school. So
Yeah.
we also do have Hayden here in the back. So there we go. He's waving. So
He's tied up. He's tied to the chair.
yes. Before we get too much into it, I do have a little present for you. I realize I left it over there. Hayden, can you reach into my bag for me, please? There should be something blue inside of my bag. Yes.
Are we getting married? Something borrowed, something
Yes.
blue.
Close your eyes.
Something old,
Close your eyes.
something new? Okay.
Open.
Thank you.
The most fucking boring flavor of chips.
ASMR.
Original.
Yeah, okay, that's beautiful. I'm happy with
Ridiculous.
that. Thank you. Over here with all my other boring stuff.
It's just... I mean, we talked about it at the,
I also use plain lube. What a psycho.
You didn't with me. What
Yeah,
are you talking about?
some people. You know.
Oh, that was our anniversary, to
Yeah.
be fair, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we will talk about some laser stuff before we get into all the craziness. You do large-scale black and grey pieces,
I do.
and you're very good at it.
Thank you very much. I try.
Stop making it all cute and everything.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
Good. Better. So with that, I'm sure you build kind of stronger relationships with your clients overall, I guess, than some people that do kind of sticker style ones would generally build. They're kind of seeing one client. They might come back. They might not.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing someone for, like Liam, for example, you're seeing him for 83 sessions or whatever it is.
Yeah, close to.
How does that kind of impact your ability to design things, and like what effect does it have on the relationship that you build with them, the fact that you see them so often, so regularly?
So before I get started with a client, I generally take, so I do 45-minute roughly consultations.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually do consult days wherever I can. If not, I'll try and slot aside a good chunk of time that I can spend with someone, particularly if they're interested in getting something that is larger scale, so that I can, first of all, it's good to meet people.
Yeah.
They need to know that I'm the right person for them, and I need to know that they're the right client for me. Obviously, the bar on my end is probably a little bit lower because, you know, I'm pretty personable. I can get along with everyone for the most part, but, you know, they're coming to me for my service. So I want them to feel comfortable, you know, but you've also got to kind of vet people. Some people, they might have grand ambitions, but not really be that aware of the process that it takes to get certain things done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually like a really good place to start. And then from there, you can get an idea of what it is that they want and then how you're going to put it together. So in that time that I spend with them, I generally will take a photo of the body part that they want to get tattooed, if it's a back or a full leg or a sleeve or whatever it is, and make a mock-up of a rough idea of the design that they want. So usually that sets things up really well so that moving forward, I'm going to be able to give them a clear expectation of what it is that we're going to be doing, how long it's going to take, and then everybody from the jump knows what's happening. So then I guess, it also means that I have a smaller clientele base than somebody who's going to be doing, 5 or 6 or more small tattoos in a day. But it does mean that I'm able to spend a lot more time getting to know the person. And a lot of the time I find, someone might start with just a small piece on the forearm or even a sleeve. And then that develops into wanting to do much more.
Man's gassy today.
Excuse my, I know I had 2 Red Bulls, so I was tired.
Excuses.
Yes. For example, a lot of the times I've started off doing something smaller on someone, and, tattoos are like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. Once you get a certain amount done, generally you've got that kind of, especially in the beginning, you've always got a fear of looking at your skin like it's like this, you're like, oh, what would I want? I'm going to find a picture and I'm going to sit on it for a year before I get it done to make sure I love it. And then once you get a little bit of work done, you sort of start looking at things like that, and you begin to look at it more like, what would look good there? What can I do there? And things usually develop in that way. Not always, but they do develop in that way, and you do form this bond with people, because not everyone obviously is going to have the resources to be able to do it all, every couple of weeks over a year.
Yeah.
A lot of the time that pans out to being over quite a number of years. And I've developed really good friendships with a lot of clients that I've had. Every time I finish anybody that they've reached their limit, I've filled their body to the extent that they want it filled, it's always kind of disappointing, it's bittersweet, because you do grow these friendships. I've got one client in particular, Costa, who came to me, all he had was a 3/4 sleeve, and he just asked me to fill in the bottom section of it because he wanted it to be full sleeve. And at the time there was he spoke to other people, and a lot of people weren't interested in doing that. And I just thought, oh yeah, seems like a cool guy. I can just fill that in for him pretty easy. And it literally turned into doing his whole body, and he was it still is the best. He's such a good client, coolest ideas, always super chill. Anyway, not to go on and on, but you meet many people like that, and it's it's really rewarding, and especially when you get those really good eggs, no pun intended. Because you're not one. No. It's, you really look forward to your days and the times that you get to spend with those people. So,
yeah. Would you say that it's more common that people do that, where they get a smaller tattoo, not necessarily a sticker, but a quarter sleeve or something like that, and then it leads into a bigger project? Or is it more so people being I want this full sleeve done, and then they either half-ass it, they do the full thing, what have you? What's normally the approach? Or is it a bit of a split?
Yeah, so I do have a lot of young guys who come in straight off the bat who do want to get a full sleeve. And it can go, they want to do the full sleeve, but then, they get part of it done and then they sort of trail off. But then on the flip side, I do get a lot of people who come in just for one area, or like I said, one just finishing off a small bit, and then they decide, oh no, actually I want to get that other area done. So it's hard to say. I would say I do more continuation pieces on people than I do one-offs. So it's probably more likely that people do come in. Either way they go, generally speaking, whether or not they just think they're going to come in for a forearm piece, or usually it always continues on to more work. Yeah. I always try and not push people, but at least plant the seed in their mind, and I'll ask them, if somebody does want to come in and just get a forearm piece, I am happy to just do a one-off piece. There's absolutely no pressure. But I asked them to consider, what do they see for themselves long term? Do you see yourself getting a sleeve? Do you see yourself, getting your chest done? Do you see blah, da, 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 da? Because if you do, then from the jump, let's plan this in a way so that it's going to look good if you decided to just leave it as a piece on its own, but it's going to be easy to be able to continue out of. And realistically, you should be doing that a lot of the time anyway, but sometimes people feel, particularly if they're young or just don't have that much experience with tattoos, they're not always as comfortable to ask those questions because maybe they're a little bit embarrassed or they're just not, they don't want to sound stupid. So kind of putting that out there, not in a way to pressure people, but just asking them to consider, like what it is that they think that they would want in the future so that I can take that on board so that I can plan things in a way that I'm going to be able to give them the best end result that that they're hopefully going to be the most happy with.
Yeah. That's definitely the way to go. For anyone listening, think about it. That's the way to go. Don't do what I'm seeing on Facebook. Go to Bali and get 18 artists working on you at the same time for 6 hours and get a whole bodysuit done. I keep seeing those come up and the people like standing there like trembling from all the trauma, and I'm like,
it's pretty nuts. Yeah. I mean, there's great artists in Bali and those guys do not get enough credit for like what they put up with and the level that they're able to execute at in the time frame that they do it. I really think that not enough people sort of give them credit, but come to me instead.
Yeah, do it. Don't go to Bali. And speaking of like how it is a long-term commitment, getting such a big piece and planning it and all of that, that's very similar to laser, like we've kind of been talking about on this series. I know you've had some laser as well. Do you want to kind of go into what areas you've had lasered and kind of what it was compared to what you're expecting?
Yeah, so I think that's part of the reason why I got laser originally, and it's part of the reason that and the influence from my brother Harvey, who I started with. When we started our apprenticeships, he was always so good at thinking forward like that for people. Shout out Harvey, rest in peace. Looking at things in a way so that if you just think like it's so easy, and Sammy, my mentor, actually told me from the very beginning, do not do anything on your arms that you're gonna like practice on, because you end up being super unhappy with them. Like they're areas that you should save and think about. And so for me, I got like, when you first start tattooing, you think that what everyone's is doing is incredible and amazing, and some people are. It's not. I don't mean to take away from anybody who has tattooed me, but I didn't necessarily put all that much thought into into long term, like what it was that I really wanted or how it was going to happen or be laid out. So for me, I've lasered the lower half of my right leg, like the complete lower half, and I've also on top of my knee on my right leg, I tattooed my ex-girlfriend's name, and then we broke up. Surprise, but we broke up. Things didn't work out.
What?
I know, it's crazy. We were going to be together forever. You guys didn't know. But
I got you guys like a wedding present.
I know.
That was what the chips were for.
yeah. Thank you. But then I tattooed a void stamp over it.
Okay.
And my current girlfriend, who I've been with for almost 10 years now, she was like, didn't bother her for the longest time. And then after like, I don't know, maybe 6 years, she was like, are you really going to keep that on there forever? And I thought, yeah, okay, maybe I'll get rid maybe it's time to let that go.
Since you asked.
But it was a really good, for me at least anyway, it was a really good thing, because sometimes people will come in and they'll be like, I want to get my thing, and I will just show my leg and be like, think about it, And then anyway, I've also done my left leg on the lower leg. I had a few portraits on there that I also got, I've been getting lasered. And I think, the more that I've developed through my career and the more that I've seen, and particularly just tattoo artistry in general is always growing and changing. And, there are so many amazing artists out there now who, whether or not you're actually going to get tattooed by them, or if you're just inspired by their work or you see what they're doing, it's getting the laser is, now I'm a little bit more precarious about who I would get tattooed by, simply because it's all an energy exchange, like who you're getting your work from, because I really think that your experience in the time of getting tattooed is pretty comparable to the quality of the tattoo that you get in the end result. Because, some people will go and they will get tattooed in Bali or in Thailand or in traveling somewhere, and it might not be the best quality tattoo, but they'll be like, man, I got this tattoo in Ibiza when I was with all my friends, It's, and it probably looks dog shit, but they're like, oh, it's such a good memory for me, And then on the flip side, I've known people who have been tattooed by really, good or Insta famous or whatever tattooers who, it's been a great tattoo, but they've been like, man, that person was like we just didn't vibe, or they were a prick, or they've had the bad experience, and so every time they look at it, they just think, "Man, fuck, I don't like that," and then a lot of them end up getting it lasered. So I don't even know where I started with this, but essentially, yeah, like I've started looking at, like, that's what I was saying. I was looking at cut that bit out.
There we go.
Yeah, I've started looking at what I was getting done and decided, okay, cool. Well, I want to get tattoos from people who, especially just being in the industry, who I really love and I really respect, and I want a piece of their art on me, and so that's my approach now.
Yep. And have you had any tattoos done over the laser that you've had, or has it just been
Not
laser
yet.
and that's it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So my right leg, with the exception of the name, is light enough now to go over, and I will. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to put on there yet. So, yeah, not currently, to answer your question.
Okay, fair enough. But you do have experience with covering other people's laser, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So what's the experience like as the artist, comparing tattooing skin that's been lasered versus just fresh skin? Is there much of a difference? Is it something to be wary of, or is it all fairly similar?
Depending on the level of treatment that the person has had with the laser, that's the biggest variable, I would say. And then obviously when you get laser done, you're given a time frame so you can't get tattooed over this over 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12, 8 to 10 weeks. 8 to 10 weeks.
I heard that it's 8 to 10
8
weeks,
to 10,
I
thank
think.
you. Yeah, you're really on the ball.
I'm just going to cut out Hayden's part where he yelled it out and just 8 to 10 weeks.
8 to 10 weeks, yeah. And so obviously that's allowing this skin enough time to heal and be back in like enough shape to sustain that damage to the skin again, of getting the tattoo. But laser is a process, and it's not an overnight fix. And depending on what the client has, I mean, it is a fix. It's just it's depending on what the client has. Like I've dealt with clients who, the worst position that you can be in is to have a tattoo that you don't want and you want to get covered up. You get suggested to get laser, but you don't do it because you can't be bothered with the process, and then you end up with another tattoo that you don't like over the top. And I've seen that happen, a lot of times. Like a lot of people who I've recommended to them, I wouldn't, maybe because what they're wanting to cover the tattoo that they've got isn't feasible. They're not going to be cohesive because, generally speaking, if you're going to do a cover up, it's got to be somewhat larger, somewhat darker, and if some people don't want to go for that, so they just go for the person who says, yes, I'll do that. And then they come back and they go, man, no, I fucking hate this, So going through the process of getting the laser and then allowing enough time, as what's recommended, to go over it again, I've never really had any problems. Occasionally you can notice that, maybe the person may bleed a little bit more in certain areas, but that's also sometimes due to the scarring, because a lot of people laser bad tattoos, where the artist or whoever has done it, if you could call them an artist, has just like dug into their skin, so it's quite scarred. So that can present a little bit of difficulty. But generally speaking, I wouldn't say, as long as the if somebody has dark areas in their tattoo, that's what I was saying before, that it can get quite, that's where it's more of a process. Anything that's reasonably light actually moves really quickly. Okay. It's very impressive. But if you have dark areas in your tattoo, it is a process. Like I just did one recently on Brendan, and he had like a sword and a shield in the middle of his, like just below his shoulder and middle of his shoulder and bicep. And luckily what he wanted over the top, it was very dark. It was like all black and it was quite old, but he wanted a tiger face over the top. And I was able to make that large enough that I could hide that tattoo right in the center of the tiger's face, and just put enough texture through it that it hit it really, really well. And ultimately that is your goal as an artist. If you are doing a cover up, is to do a tattoo over the top that people aren't going to realize that it was actually a cover up to the best of your ability. Yeah. And laser helps with that. Yeah.
And like you kind of just spoke about, obviously there is a difference between having a shit tattoo, trying to cover it up, and you having to just completely hide this tattoo inside of this tattoo. With laser, obviously lightens it up, and then you can kind of change the design. Does it give you more freedom in creating the design, or is 100%. It still more like this is their idea, I have to make it work, how am I going to make it work? Or do you have that freedom to kind of make things flow a little bit when it's a bit lighter?
Well, yeah, that definitely depends on the client and what they want. But again, that's where like doing a consultation and vetting people, or like, it's not always vetting people, but like if somebody has an unrealistic expectation, it's not, you don't want to move forward with that person, because all that you're going to be doing is trying to give them something that's actually unachievable, and I've done that before where, particularly early on, you're just trying to please people instead of being, give them the reality. If you have someone that's willing to, like, that has something that is quite difficult to work with, but they're willing to get the laser, it opens up your options immensely, because especially when it comes to dark stuff, or, I don't do as much color, but anything that's like a dark, was a black, or is a darker color. If you want to cover that, you've got to balance your tones through your overall piece, not just have black in the area. I mean, you can manage that, but generally speaking, you don't just want to have a bunch of black in the area that you were covering up, unless it was, obviously it depends on the design and what style you're doing. You can manage that, but, generally you want to balance it so it doesn't look too heavy in one area that you were covering. So yeah, having a bit of laser there on the whole thing, but particularly the troubled areas, does open up your options immensely. And as long as the client is open to you doing your thing, then it, if somebody has like something small in the middle of their arm here and they just want something a little bit bigger, you're very limited. But if they're like, no, I want to get a half sleeve or so much easier. So yeah, as long as they're open to that, and then if they can go through the process, then, and at the end of the day, even though it is a process, most people are okay with that, but some people struggle to be patient enough to go through it. But the tattoos are there forever, and ultimately, if you can, go through the recommended pathways and get that done, you're going to be so much happier, and you're not going to be looking at it again in 5 years and just thinking, man, why didn't I just do that?
Yeah. Have you had any clients in the past at all?
I've had many clients in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next, that are kind of struggle with that commitment to it. So like you recommend that they go to SW Laser Tattoo Removal.
Only place I recommend.
Exactly. And then they're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about laser. And you either say like, look, it would be a good idea, or you say, okay, we can try cover it with this. And they say, I don't want to cover it with this. What do you do in those situations? Do you just kind of like, well, I did what I can? Do
yeah,
you
absolutely.
try work with them? What's the...
Again, that comes down to the consultation, so that I'm able to clearly explain the person's options to them. If they aren't happy, like I can't pull a rabbit out of a hat in that circumstance. So if I can provide them with what their options are, and then what I am willing to do along the best pathways. Like if somebody has something that I could cover but would be better with laser, I'll tell them that. I'll say, I could do this, but I do think that this would be the best option. Sometimes it doesn't work out financially feasible for people to do laser and get the tattoo, at least in the time frame that they would like. And so that's understandable. Not everyone's going to be able to do all that. So I still do try and offer them the best outcome possible for them and their particular circumstance. But if somebody is just being unrealistic, all you can do is tell them the best, look, these are the best pathways. And then if they want something, again, that is, they want me to just pull a rabbit out of a hat, it's like, bro, this is how you got here in the first place, because you jumped the gun and you did this because you thought it was a good idea, and maybe you didn't know, but now you're not listening, and then so you have to just be honest with people like that and just say, listen, I see where you're going, but I'm not the person for you.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm sure there are, and not just with yourself, but I'm sure there are people that have a bad tattoo, they hate it, they want to get it covered, and there's good artists like yourself that are like, if you do this, it'll look better in the long run. And they're just like, I just want it gone. I don't care about what it's going to look like down the line. I don't care about the artistry. I just want it gone. Have you had to deal with anyone like that? Or are most people, because you do larger scale stuff, kind of open to the idea of, I want it to be an art piece rather than just get rid of this?
Yeah, no, I've definitely had that before. I've had clients who had, like, names is a big one. If somebody's in that position where what they're actually saying is, I don't care what you put over the top of it, I just want it gone. It's something that has either direct connection or connotations to something that they now view as particularly negative. So usually it's an ex's name or,
Void.
Yeah. So at least mine was funny, but like some people, and you can understand if someone's had, and that's what a lot of what tattooing is, everybody's got their own reasons for getting them, and then sometimes they turn out to be the wrong choice, And if somebody has got a partner's name tattooed on them and then being particularly hurt by that person, then they're obviously going to look at it and just, But also I remember one time actually, when I was only a few years in, we had this guy come in and he had "Time is Money" tattooed on his inner forearm, and it was actually pretty good. Like, it was a nice looking tattoo, but he hated it because he used to be on drugs. And then he had gotten, this is what he said anyway, I don't know the ins and outs, but he said he used to be on drugs and now he's gotten off. But now the T kind of looked like a J to him. And I understand when you do things in cursive or script, it can kind of look like that. But he said all he could read was junkies money or something like that. And so to him, again, super negative connotation. It reminded him of his past that he wasn't happy with, and he wanted to get it covered, and he said, I don't care. That was something that, especially at my level of experience then, I just wouldn't have had any idea what to do with it. Even now, I would just be like, laser, bro. It's the best option. But so to answer your question, yes, sometimes you get to those things where people they don't care what they're getting. And generally, I've found that they do that when they're getting for me, I've had that with people who say we're getting a back piece, but maybe had a name at the top, and then I was just able to cover it in the background. Yeah. Or, maybe I was doing some roses here and then there was a name somewhere else, or, it's always names at least. Off the top of my head, it's always like script because it's, more indicative of another person, But every now and then, actually, you see those like king and queen, all that.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Like his king, his queen, her king, whatever.
So I'm just taking that as you don't want to get matching this Christmas?
Yeah, I didn't say that. Okay. I'm just saying.
That's how I took it.
Because, we're going to last forever.
Okay, yeah. So we don't need a tattoo to kind of solidify.
We're not the same as everyone else.
No.
We're really in love. Yeah, but those are the kind of things. And then, I don't know. If you've got something small in your hand and you don't really want something big to cover it, you're kind of in trouble there. Like, I could black it out. I don't like it when anybody ever comes into me and they're like, do whatever you want. Like, I'm like, I will, but give me some direction, because I always say, like, I'll be like, oh man, that's sick, because I really want to do a portrait of like Julia Gillard, or I want to do this, like something that most people would not find appealing, and they go, oh no, I don't want that, and I'm like, oh okay, so you know what you don't want, let's focus on that then. So you don't want these things, and then it allows you like a little bit of direction to be able to go in, because if somebody's really seeking you out for your work, and I do. It's a little bit different. If you do neo-trad or if you do trad or something like that, you're a lot more branded with that particular style. So you do have people seeking you out for that. But, with black and gray, like especially a lot of the stuff that I do, it is like me putting things together off other people's ideas, off clients' ideas. So, it's not exactly the same in that way.
Yeah, fair.
Yep.
That's pretty much all the laser stuff that we needed to get to. So
okay, nice.
Look at us fucking go. I do have some fun questions though.
Okay, go.
Do you have any would you rathers, by the way? Because
no, I didn't think of any.
Because I have spent the last probably 3 or 4 days thinking of a would you rather just for you, because I knew that you would appreciate it.
Okay,
but we'll get to that at the end.
Okay.
So I have a list of like reality/game kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to blind rank in order of which one you would most want to be on.
Okay. Reality/game shows.
Yeah,
okay.
So like,
all right.
Like Love Island isn't a game show, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
my friend was on Love Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, shout out Eric.
Okay, so there's 6 shows. Do you know how blind rankings work? Like once you put one somewhere, you can't change it and you don't know what's coming next?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
1 is best, 6 is worst.
Okay.
Gotcha?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
First one, Ink Master. Not what you think you could win, what you would want to be on.
Yeah, no, fucking 5.
5.
Yeah,
okay.
Not interested.
Not interested in the reality side or like the way that they run things? All of it?
No shade at anyone who wants to do that, but that doesn't interest me. I think I've never really watched it. I've seen like snippets of some episodes, and I know that Anthony James Tex on like this later season, because I follow them, so I've seen it, and I think that's fucking cool what they're doing. But you know, I know some people who really hold that show up as like high because their idea of being a successful tattooer is coupled deeply with being a celebrity tattooer. And I just don't necessarily think, like, I'm not shitting on anyone who does that, but it's just not my perspective, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm not saying that I'm fucking better than it by any means at all. I just mean that, like, yeah, you know.
I mean, like, I used to watch it like before I got involved in the
industry.
I
fucking used to watch Miami Ink and LA Ink. I love that shit. You know,
and
I thought that I would do that before I did the other one. Before I did Ink Master, 100%.
I'd like watch that and I'd be like, damn, this is like so cool. And then as I kind of got more involved in the industry, I'm like, they're voting out really good tattoos for one and keeping ones that are really bad, and they're like having these weird challenges that have nothing to do with anything.
And I've seen snippets of those guys that fucking, like, some people are just pricks and they just pick on, you know, someone because for whatever reason, and it causes drama. And I get it, like, that's the show format, whatever. But yeah, and then even the judges, you know, like, they've got to sit there and try and you know, find flaws at times in things that are otherwise pretty solid, I guess, you know. And I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I just don't feel like it doesn't interest me. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
So number 5.
Yeah.
All right. Next, Survivor.
Survivor would be fun because I'm kind of fat now, and
no, you're not. You're gorgeous.
It would be it would be good. I'll put Survivor at 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 3 and 5.
Yeah.
I should have brought a pen.
I'm not that strategic. I don't really like to scheme, and it seems like a schemey show.
Yeah.
But
well, I was going to put like letters and numbers or countdown in here. So lucky I didn't do that because you said you're not strategic. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like 8 out of 10 cats. Love that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
okay.
that'd be sick.
Next one, Squid Game.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Squid Game. Think like childhood games, but if you lose, you die.
Yeah, 6. I don't want to fucking no. I'm not dying.
But if you win, you win. Like, have you seen Squid Game, Hayden? Oh, okay. I'm just a bitch then.
Yeah. That's what we were saying just before. Hayden and I were like, man,
it's like
Egg's a bitch.
I think it's like $25 million or something like that.
No, I'd rather just fucking live my normal life and not worry about dying just for getting tic-tac-toe wrong or some shit.
Sign an NBA contract and then you make like $30 million. So.
Yeah, I could. I just turned NBA down.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, cool. So we've got 3, 5, and 6.
They call me Titney Griner.
All right. American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, I would, 2. I'll put that at 2.
2.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd go okay, or you just want the experience of doing it?
No, probably not. Maybe a couple of years ago, I would have probably done pretty decent on that. But, you know, look, if I had 6 months to train for it, yeah, 100%. I think, I don't think I'd do great, but I think I would do okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that'd be super fun. I've got bad shoulders.
Okay.
You know.
So where are you putting that one?
2.
2. Cool.
Yep.
So you've got 1 and 4.
Yeah, that's
open.
right. Yep.
Okay. MasterChef.
4.
He's leaving the number 1 spot open.
Yeah. I'll make cereal.
That's right. What if the challenge
eggs?
is cereal?
I make good eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, I can make good eggs. So if they were
real quick, how do you have your eggs? How do you have them?
My favorite, I like scrambled. You know, scrambled eggs. Oh, okay. So I go scrambled eggs with a side of bacon and avocado.
Okay.
Love that. And or like just, you know, poached eggs on toast. Really good.
Okay.
Yeah. But scrambled is usually my first option.
If you're having a fried egg, how do you have it cooked?
I don't like the egg booger that sits on top, that clear film. It really makes me gag.
Uh-huh.
It's making me feel sick now. Yeah, God, it gives me the... You know why? Because once when I was like 15 or maybe 14.
No, go ahead. Trauma dump.
Yeah, okay. So I was at like it was someone in my family's, like, it was a big birthday, right? So we had this dinner at the pub, and
as you do at big birthdays.
Yeah. Right. So all the family got together. I've always been like a gluttonous pig and wanted like more. So like I really wanted some dessert and stuff, and my mum wouldn't get it for me. One of the family members had bought their kid it's making me, I'm going to gag saying this, had bought them a banana split, and they didn't eat it. So he was like, do you want it? And I said, yeah, sure. And so it was like a banana split with ice cream that was mostly still there. Part of the banana was gone and like chocolate syrup all over it. And so I started eating it, and then like I had one mouthful and it was good. Then I had the second mouthful, and it was kind of like the syrup was really like, it was kind of stringy. Oh, no. And so as I kind of put it in my mouth, and then it like kind of, like hit me on the lip, on the chin, and I kind of sucked it up, and I realized it was like spit because the kid had eaten some and then spat it out. Oh, no. Yeah. And God, I think about it like every now and then. I'll be driving and I'll be like, so anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, well, man, I don't share food. I'm not into it. Like if someone's like, my brother would always say that, hey, can I have a sip of your drink? I'll drink a little bit more and be like, have it. It's yours. I'm not into it. It's not for me.
Where do you draw the line on like, if you have a straw? Do you flip the straw? Do you take the straw out if someone wants to have some?
I wouldn't do that.
Just
get your own fucking drink. I mean, look, if it was my son, sure, or my missus, like it's a little bit different.
Okay, so where are we drawing the line? So they're okay.
Yeah, those two. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and then my next
Trump
newborn infant.
And then
I wouldn't share a fucking drink with Trump, unless he asked me to.
Share a tattoo needle with him though. My question was, how do you have your boiled egg?
Oh yeah, that's right. So the boogers, the
yeah.
boogery film on top. I don't like that. So if I fry an egg, I'll crack it, and then I'll either put a saucepan over the top of it so that the steam cooks the top as well, or I give it a flip real quick, grill it on the other side just so that it's like
cooked enough,
and then I'll flip it over. But generally speaking, sunny side up is preference. Yeah, as long as it's cooked properly. I fucking hate that boogery film.
Sunny side up is one of the most disgusting things in the world. I fucking love eggs, but I have them dead. Like, I will cook the shit out of them and then flip them and then let them cook even more until they're like borderline burnt.
That's disgusting.
Just so that it's just solid yolk.
Yeah, that's gross. Yeah, but I also hate, when you get poached eggs like that as well, and you like cut it open and it hasn't been cooked long enough, and all the uterus comes out, and you're like, God, this is. Yeah. Hayden's like, this is not what we came here for.
I mean, we were talking about what's his name's back piece.
What's his name? Jennifer Lopez's ex.
Oh yeah, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, with the Phoenix.
The Phoenix.
You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
He hadn't seen it before.
Yeah,
But he's getting it lasered now.
Is he?
An article.
No,
interesting.
he's fucking not.
It's pretty. Do you know? I reckon Ben Affleck gets such a hard chop from everyone, and I think he'd be pretty cool to hang out with.
I'm going to be honest. If Ben Affleck walked up to me in the street and slapped me in the face and said,
he would.
I'm Ben Affleck, I'd say, who? And keep walking because I don't know who he is or what he looks like.
Come on, bro. He's fucking Batman.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was. He's not. Who?
Isn't there like 8 Batman?
Christian Bale is Batman.
8
really.
Batman?
If we're being honest.
Batman?
Robert.
Batman?
Yeah, Michael Keaton. He's a little bit. I never watched those ones though. Yeah, I mean, I have, but they're not. The Christian Bale was more in my formative years, I would say, but. Good Will Hunting, The Town.
Haven't seen any of these.
What was that other one? The one where it was a murder suspect?
Gone Girl.
Oh, Two Girls, One
Gone
Cup.
Girl. Yeah. Gone Girl was. Yeah, that I forget that actress's name. Can you say actress anymore? Actor, whatever. I forget that lady. I forget that broad's name.
Okay.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, but she's fantastic. She's Anyway, whatever.
Haven't seen any of the movies that we just mentioned.
Yeah.
So MasterChef's number 4. So that means that your number 1 spot
Here we go.
is Farmer Wants a Wife.
Oh yeah, I'd do that. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you have to look for it.
Yeah, I could be a wife.
Okay.
Am I the farmer or the wife? I'd be the farmer. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'd go on that. That's
Whoever
fine.
you want to be.
I want land.
Maybe you can go season 1, you're the farmer. Season 2, you're the wife.
If I could find some Sheila who had a big, I mean, don't get me wrong, very happy in my relationship.
A big what? A big what? Find a Sheila that has a big what. Say it. Say it with your chest.
Block of land. You're disgusting.
Oh, grotty. Okay. And then the last thing is the would you rather. Have you thought of a would you rather?
No.
Have you got one back of mind?
No.
Top of mind?
No.
Front of mind?
No.
Anywhere in your mind?
No.
Fuck. Hayden, do you have a would you rather? What is this bullshit?
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, the would you rather I've got for you.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you like the absolute base level of what this would you rather is, and then I'm going to go into the details about the ifs, ands, buts, and details. So, would you rather have a kidney removal or run a 5K in a black morph suit? Here's the details. Kidney removal is done by a fully trained doctor or surgeon, but has never done a surgery before. He's just finished all of his training, so he's never actually done a surgery before, but he's fully trained to do so. He is, however, only able to use any supplies you can find in a preschool classroom to do the surgery. You have a 0% chance of dying, but you don't know that during the surgery. You are not put under, but you have like somewhere between a Panadol and the local anesthetic or whatever it's called that numbs it.
This is a terrible would you rather.
That's option one.
Okay. Okay.
Option two.
Yeah. Okay. Would I rather be cut open with a butter knife or be a bit hot for a 5K run?
Wait for it. Wait for it. 5K run, you're
Okay.
wearing a black morph suit
Yeah.
on a 42-degree Australian summer's day, running on hot sand at the beach barefoot, no water during the 5K, and every 500 meters there is 5 meters of thumbtacks.
This is so fucking stupid. How
Again,
would you get
again.
thumbtacks on the beach?
They're just. Let's say they're on concrete. Every 5 meters there's concrete with.
No. No.
Well, there is.
Okay.
So I checked.
Oh yeah, I
and,
would do
there
that
is.
still. I would still do that. I don't want one kidney. It doesn't seem like a good existence. You know, it's if you have to live that way, you can, but you got to pay attention. I don't want to do that.
What, like, take away the like having one kidney side of things. Let's say you get the kidney removed in the other one. The other one functions as two
It
kidneys.
would still be way better to just
Okay.
deal with the. You know, I would find a way. Like I would just go around the thumbtacks, or I would just put my feet down and scooch. So I would just push them.
There is no possible way to avoid the thumbtacks.
I can tell you there is. Yeah, I'm doing the run. I'm doing the run for sure.
Okay.
I don't want to get cut open with a fucking like a pair of safety scissors. Like that's fucking
That's
impossible.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing that isn't the preschool supplies is the stuff to like sew you back up, because they're not going to use Elmer's glue or something like
That's
that.
the easiest part. I'd rather be glued back up than cut open with a fucking. Like, what are you going to pull some steel from the window frame of the classroom or something?
That's not a
What else?
supply. That's not a supply.
It could, bro. You didn't go to school where I went to school.
Maybe not. It's still not a supply though. That's a part of the classroom.
Yeah. No. There's
That's like
nothing.
saying you use the teacher's teeth.
Yeah,
It's not a supply.
it's available.
Jesus.
I've used a teacher's teeth once or twice. You know. Like,
I don't know what you sound like. Okay.
no, I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add before we send it off?
No.
Cool.
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No worries.
This has been
Thanks for
fun.
being here. I appreciate it. Feel free to plug where people can find you, either in person, online, and anything you've got coming up, any events you've got coming up as well. Feel free to plug those as well.
At Anthony Janisic on Instagram. Don't do anything on Facebook. And can't really think of anything.
Twitter? Twitter? X?
Twitter. Yeah, I am. I do use X, but I have literally nothing on it. And yeah, that's it.
Any events? Any events coming up?
No, nothing worth mentioning. I do. These guys, now this is just going to seem weird. I did an open mic and now I'm going to do another one to do stand-up comedy, but it's
And just like roughly ballpark what date's that on and what
January
location?
15th. But I'm actually not sure of the location. All I've said to him is like, can I do it? And he said, yeah, January 15th. It's
We got told somewhere in Freo.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be in Freo, but
Okay.
you can, if you're really interested, send me a DM.
Or just follow the man's Instagram.
Follow the
and
man's
then-
Instagram.
And he'll post about it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And is Nikki going to go as well?
I don't know. Probably not.
She's probably too big.
I've spread my wings. I've booked this one without her, even though I still ask her like
She's
40,000 questions
she's-
today about everything. But
She's
yeah.
probably performing Wembley or something like that. for the
yeah,
weekend.
back to Europe.
Yeah.
you know.
Because you've got Madison Square Garden tomorrow night, or is that next week?
It's a matter of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Thanks for being on again, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, my friend. This has been fun.
Anytime. I'll get you on again and we can talk some more absolute nonsense.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
After the morph suit run. Please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, share the show. Thank you everyone for watching all 3 parts of the laser series as well. I appreciate it. There'll be more to come in the near future. And please be sure to check out the website fitgpod.com and all socials at fitg_podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Hayden. Appreciate it. And remember, Jime is money.
No, junkie's money.
Jime is money. See ya.